Yeah, the Russians really pummeling the Württembergs over here. That is excellent for us. We might not have to expend any troops whatsoever. Hello, and welcome my good students back to our Napoleon Total War campaign as the Austrian Empire. We are joining straight back from our previous video where we did fend off a rather full French stack from Milan over here. Did take a small beating, but our main damage is on our Hungarian Fusiliers here, which will take, I reckon, 4 turns to fully replenish there, which is rather unlucky. So I'm thinking, really, when we do have movement available, to bring this army over to reinforce Milan. I'm expecting that the Russians over here will take Innsbruck Tyrol over the end turn, which is somewhat on the unlucky side for us. But not to worry too much. We're going to bring our spy out over here, and we're going to scout into Torino over here in Piedmont, Liguria, and to try and get some sort of spy network established further into Marseille perhaps, just because it's rather blind. We have, of course, expanded our border here. I don't want to assume this is actually empty. That would be rather a mistake to just assume so. With our navy, I think what we want to do is just actually sit over here roughly and raid the trade route, because if we look over here, we have a massive French navy sat over here. That is absolutely huge for a navy, and even more disgusting, that's all standard warships, no trade ships in this particular navy. You can tell that because they're not making any money off of this trade routes. You will only make money off of these trade nodes if you do have trade ships on top of them, of course. That does make sense. So what we're going to do, because we can't stand up to that, is we're going to try and sit. We're going to guess that their range will not meet here, but you never know. Raid this trade route for 725 income there, and that is excellent. Can have a look at upgrading the wine estates here, which is excellent for wealth per turn and of course happiness, which is always useful. How is the okay, so the happiness here isn't actually too bad, which means we can leave over here and reinforce this army with these units. Might want to upgrade our trade ports in the future as well over here for the increased income and trade potential. What I really want to do though is, of course, upgrade the great estates over here. That will take 8 turns, but it will be worthwhile. That will give us some more region wealth and more replenishment, which is always useful. We'll reduce our happiness due to industrialization a tad, but how's that actually looking at the moment? It shouldn't be so bad at the moment. It is industrialization. Let's see, and people in the government actually, and of course tax is always high, which is reducing that. But I think we're 1 turn off of getting the field ambulance, so our replenishment here should get better. Going to take again 4 turns or so to fully replenish our army here. We are going to have to use the army sat over here in the Balkans to help us push into Ottoman territory and wipe them off of the map finally. I think, speak about doing things finally, we will upgrade this factory. We are already doing so. Not so worried about upgrading the stud farm here, because it's not the greatest boon from upgrading that too directly. I want to upgrade this though. Having said that, I don't think it's too much of a bother at the moment. That's sitting in Hungary, and I don't really want to reduce our public order at the moment just yet. What can we do about the people in power, actually? We can, of course, reduce our nobility taxes, but that's not really going to help our happiness too much, so I do want to keep that up. So the people in power, go to ministers. Really, the treasury is not particularly bad at 4 stars there. Justice, +1 to repression. Let's see if we can upgrade that to kick him out. So yeah, +1 to repression, but also -3% to the cost of town watch and +1 to maximum repression bonus from a town watch. So our militia will do very nicely indeed, and that is absolutely excellent. So, I think with that being said, let's end the turn and see what happens today, shall we? Oh dear. Oh dearie dear. So Napoleon has come out of nowhere, coming from obviously the southern France over here to our west. It's quite a large army, and if we had one more unit in here and our replenishment was fine, I'd happily take this. With two generals here, we've got Jean Renier over here as well. I think we could have taken that, but we'll try and decline the attack at the moment, see what he does. He's going to retreat. Okay. Well, that was very, very interesting indeed that Napoleon came out of nowhere and decided to retreat. He could well have pushed that attack and it would have been very, very close. I think we would have lost that battle, unfortunately, but not to worry. We do have another problem looking at us right now. We have a spy network established in Istanbul. It is indeed, which means we can see all of the Istanbul region very clearly now, which is excellent. So we can see it, not really in danger of this raiding group over here. I think we should be able to fend that off, even if it is just militia in this area here. That's absolutely fine. We can use that to our advantage later. Have a unit recruited in northern Italy, which is excellent. And the glaring issue now is this Württemberg stack, which has just come out of nowhere. So, going to reinforce Milan over here, the second army. And what we're going to do is, I think, can we... Oh, it's 29% success chance to sabotage that. 40% to assassinate their general. Can we push up and see what else is about? Can we see Napoleon? That's all. Oh, that's rather nasty. Oh, that's very, very nasty indeed. If any of these two armies decide to push with the Württemberg army, we're not going to have a good time. Not going to have a good time at all. So, there's 28% chance to sabotage the French army here. What about the Spanish? It's got to be higher. Only 39% though. I think we stand a better chance. We can't even reach that this turn anyway. We're going to have to try and sabotage this army. And it's of course not worked. Trade route raided somewhere. Have a minor Spanish fleet raiding here, but protected by a very minor French fleet. The thing is, we can't go over to that because we'll get caught out by this particular fleet once again. Ancillary gained from a minister. 3% bonus to global tax rate and management for treasury. That's interesting. But on top of the raiding, that's we still have a bonus actually to our income, which is not particularly bad at all. That's huge. That's another Spanish stack over here. Suddenly regressing a little bit, actually, expanding into Milan like this. May well have wanted to turn that into a puppet state, into a border, a barrier. That's very, very alarming indeed. There's not a lot we can do about that at the moment. What can we do with the Kingdom of Spain? Can we go for peace? Pay, let's say, 2,000. Be very generous there, and give them bottling and canning. Said no. Of course. If we request peace with the French and a trade agreement, even though Napoleon did pioneer, we'll give him the metric system and we'll offer him land drainage. Won't pay him. Say yes. Okay. And that we are still, of course, at war with the Kingdom of Spain and Saxony and such as allies. So long as they honour that trade agreement, as we've seen, of course, so many times previously, we should be okay for now. Unfortunately, we don't have the movement with our healthier army over here to push this Württemberg army. Oh, again, we've just let down by replenishment once again, aren't we? We are going to have to move this. Improved coppering. It's not the greatest at the moment. We don't have much of a fleet to talk about. Grand Battery is okay. But we're not upgrading that just yet, are we? Top Gallants isn't necessarily bad. For increased movement range and speed. It's going to take 4 turns. Carronade isn't bad, so that we can actually recruit Carronade frigates. We should do abolition of slavery is not bad, and that will only take a couple turns. Trade unions. Let's go for the abolition of slavery to increase our happiness, shall we? We've got metalled roads here. I'm not entirely sure what else we can do with that, to be honest. Can we go for peace with the Württembergs? Very briefly. We can't trade with them, unfortunately. Give them land drainage. Offer two. We'll give them 1,000 for now. Said no. I'm not too bothered. I think we can take this as long as they do. As long as the French do honour that peace treaty. With the trade agreement, they should be a little happier to honour it. What we should do is, I think we're going to actually upgrade our navy once again. Going to go for a couple more 64 gunners, and in Vienna we're going to finally upgrade our ordnance factory. I think it would be best for our economy to go for a Grand Opera House. I think going for the Grand Battery so that we can finally get going with our cannons and get some mortars out in the future would be great. And we are finally going to start looking at Prague over here. I quite like the idea of going for the Grand Opera House. Just double check our roads. Let's go for that. Let's get to run our treasury down, but not to worry there. Prussia are certainly dealing with Saxony for us there, so we're not under any threat whatsoever there. And that's great. So that's all we can really do. Once again, there's not much point in moving over here because we're waiting for our replenishment, but that's been really helped out by field ambulances. We were going to move this army though, weren't we? So let's get on and do that and not waste any time there. Once again, end the turn, cross our fingers, assume the recovery position, and pray. Let's get going. Okay, so we're in quite the pickle here. Prussia has declared war on our vassal Bavaria. So Prussia will of course have all of their allies. If we enter war on the side of Bavaria, of course we do go toward Prussia. If we decline helping Prussia, it will break our alliance with them. I think that's the safest option at the moment. I don't need to open up a war with Prussia just yet. That's really not a good idea at all. Bit of a no-brainer there. We'll have to decline the call to war there. So that has also opened up Prussia asking us to go to war with Bavaria. They are offering carronade frigates, and they are offering a single payment of 1,000 gold. But once again, if you've seen how big the Bavarian armies are, I don't want to go to war with them just yet. Russia is also offering exactly the same deal. I don't know why everyone hates Bavaria, to be honest. What have they ever done? It looks like the Prussians are getting on top of Bavaria, though. Blucher and another army are already there, so that could be a nice thing to go for later. We'll probably try and wangle ourselves a deal in the future. Luckily, however, the situation in Piedmont, Milan, does seem to have gotten a tad better. I do wonder where oh, there it is, it's advanced. Did wonder where that Württemberg army had got to. Nation destroyed, the Kingdom of Saxony, not to worry. And we have +1 happiness to our nobility, which is excellent because we are taxing them to shit. So we'll have to deal with this army. The thing is that we'll leave Milan open to the Spanish army here. So we have a decision to make. I think the decision is going to be send this army from Milan all the way over to Venice. Because they actually have crossed to the southern side of the river here. We should be able to get past there. That'll be more likely to raid our towns and villages over here. Not to worry too much though, so long as they don't actually take Venice, I can live with that. So we're going to send our more damaged army over to Venice. Allow that to replenish a bit better. And what we can do is try and attack this army over here. The French have actually honoured the peace treaty here, which is excellent. So we're going to, I think, sabotage this army here. Which means that when we take on this army won't be able to come in and reinforce straight after, which is excellent for us. Not the greatest army over here, but it is still units which will get in our way. So, even with low stability here, we're going to have to do this very quickly. In fact, what we can do is recruit some Landwehr over here. That will be rather nasty to our economy, but at this point, I just need stability. So, before we do that, is there anything else we can do movement-wise? I think we can bring Johann von Österreich over here to guard the bridge into Wallachia. And how are we looking over here? Actually, one more turn and we'll be ready to march into Istanbul. So let's get ready over here. Our happiness is stable in Wallachia, so we are able to leave that unattended. We've got some Russian reinforcements coming in, which is rather interesting indeed. That's a long march for them into Europe. Looks like our coalition forces are finally kicking into action and are going to help us, which is rather useful indeed. I just wonder if there's anything I want to invest in before I get into that battle. I will be putting us off as much as possible, but not to worry. I think we're going to go, very tempted by a course of justice in both Vienna and Prague. I think that'd be very useful. It's going to be quite long-term investment. We'll say 8 turns to build that up, but it will be quite a nice investment. That will increase our repression, our tax rate, it will allow us unit recruitment capacity, and of course just the usual technologies there. That is excellent. It will allow us to get those things going very nicely indeed. Just double check, you have 5 turns until we're conscript infantry tactics as well. So let's get going, stop putting this off, let's go to war with the Spanish. Hopefully knocking this army out will push them towards a peace treaty, we shall see. Not had great luck with that in previous times, have we? Let's get going. Oh, we're at peace with them. Yeah, I said we need... Can't go to that. I've made the mistake because I'm too used to playing more modern Total Wars, in which you can just trespass on enemy land willy-nilly. We need, ladies and gentlemen, we need military access. And we will offer and ask for access for 5 turns. They said, rarely have they been so insulted. So we actually can't pass into the French land over here just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit in... Don't need to sit in there just yet because we are recruiting. What we're going to do is, I think, there is a road into Milan over here. So we're going to lay an ambush just outside of the road. And is that working? We are in position. So, assuming the Spanish will take the road over here into Milan, we're going to set an ambush and wait for them. Let's get going. Okay, so of course moving our army into an ambush position over here has left Milan open from the southern area. However, we do have support from the Russians. A somewhat battered half stack over here from Mikhail Kutuzov will be aiding us in this battle if need be. We will still be attacking though, of course, so we'll see how that turns out. I think we're going to be reinforcing though, so that's going to be very interesting. That means we will start the battle with just these 2 units over here, the Archduke Charles Legion and our militia. So we'll be coming in separately. Let's get going and see how that works out. Okay, so we are going to start from the deployment phase today. We've not been given any indication where our reinforcements are going to come from, so we're just going to hide in the woodland here. We can't fit everyone just yet. Could we hide if we group up like this? That's this group that isn't hidden. Doesn't appear so. Can we hide anywhere else? This group does not hide. That's very interesting. Okay. Very interesting indeed. Let's move out over here then and see where our reinforcements are coming from. Okay, so we're coming from our extreme left flank over here, and that is a huge spread of Württemberg troops. They've really made a big old spaghetti line. Hopefully they'll be indecisive. What we can see though is Mikhail Kutuzov is coming. Ooh, okay, so we are going to attack from 2 directions here. He's coming in with his lance cavalry, his Cossacks over here by the looks of it. What we need to do though is get in very quickly and form up. So let's fast forward and just get in. We're going to have to bring our units, I think, because they are also moving to the centre of the map. We're going to have to be very careful and just form a line at the moment just to get a tiny bit of cohesion. If we get in as quickly as possible before our Russian allies retreat. And having said that, where is he? Looks like Mikhail Kutuzov is charging head on. Very brazen there, isn't he? Very, very brazen indeed. Rather interesting tactic there. We were being poked by the Russian cavalry over here. And of course, if we can get in before they retreat, we can form the heaviest of flanks. So what we need to do is slow down because it looks like their cavalry is inbound. And if we bring back our general staff, we don't want him to get hit. And what we can do is come forwards with our infantry, pull back with our cavalry while they're coming in, and let their cavalry, what are they, chevaulegers? They are indeed. And let them get shot as they approach by our infantry. Only the trained infantry can form a square. Of course, our militia will not be able to, so any charges they will have to take directly to the front. So they should be coming in range very soon. If we get in behind our infantry there, we can come round and flank around as need be very soon. How are we looking with our oncoming units? Get around here. Might be an idea to set up some cannons on the hill over here, on the overlook, so we fire over our infantry, as you can see here, and onto their incoming cavalry. Just need to be very quick with that. It's just going to take a long old time, a long time to actually come in. We might want to turn around. No, we're getting some shots off there. You have to turn around. What are they doing? What are they doing? Yeah, we need to just face this, I think, as quickly as possible because we can't form a ruddy bloody square. Let's bring our general out of that. Move in with 2 units over here. Turn around like so. Shoot them in the back. I've done that very, very badly there. Not to worry. Not to worry at all. Only 1 unit of cavalry. It should be fine. But they're so spread out they're making contact with both of our infantry units here, which is rather unlucky. Let's make a big old block here. And shoot them in the backs. No need to charge them with our cavalry like this. We'll only lose them. Looks like the Württembergs are rousing off over here, you know. Our... what have we got? Just standard Russian musketeers. Very, very nice indeed. Look at that. It's very detailed as well. But yeah, the Russians really pummeling the Württembergs over here. That is excellent for us. We might not have to expend any troops whatsoever. On this flank at least. How are we looking over here? How are we looking over here? Not the best. Might actually have to run in with some cavalry here. Despite what we said earlier, we're still taking quite some time to come in with our own army. Okay, so it's looking like our infantry reinforcements are coming in, but we've been rather hodgepodge about this. We're going to make some emergency lines, maybe have to square up a little. Going to loosen up our own formation here and stretch out a bit so that we do have more solid firing lines here. And we do need to make some order. We have pushed our cannons in because it didn't look like the Württembergs were going to push in at all. So we're misplaced with this, but I think we can just sit on this little hill here and get around here. If we pull our cavalry back, we are going to have to square up here. Maybe a tad too late there. Might have to square up here as well. That is definitely too late to square up, but not to worry, all good. Do have multiple firing angles here. Just stop here so that they're not ruining our cohesion at all. And we're going to have to move this double time like that. It's got our militia covering our flank there, as we should do. I think we'll just move in over here. Do have some skirmishers over here. Might want to run in with our cavalry in just a second, but I think we'll unlimber our cannons immediately. Remove the square over here because that cavalry is rousing off, completely shattered. Russians crushing the Württemberg flank over here. That is excellent work. Excellent, excellent work. Going to bring our cavalry round to our rear, I think. Let the infantry handle this a little better, I think. Just pull back a tad, like that. Form a decent line. Come round over here, actually, this unit. There we go. Cannons are able to fire safely over here. Let's just bring this cavalry back over here before we start killing our own men. Very, very dirty lines over there. Very, very dirty indeed. Please don't take that out of context about the dirty lines. Dirty. So, let's focus our fire on this big old blob of line infantry over here. Do you have to be wary of this unit of Chevaulegers over here? So what we're going to do is actually, do we have any spare infantry? Yes we do. We're going to bring this infantry over here. We're going to bring them, actually we can't enter this church unfortunately. It's rather unlucky. I'm going to bring this unit over here very quickly. What we're going to do is go around over here very easily. They will have the cover of this wall over here, but I doubt they'll use it properly. Very nasty line over here. This is bugging me. It's really bugging me. The cannons firing in here, they will get some very nice kills and ruin their morale as they lose cohesion on movement here, which is absolutely brilliant. And we're getting some marvellous shots out onto this. They are vaulting the cover here of the wall, so they're going to abandon that. Big old blob of Württemberg troops. Very, very useful indeed. Are we hitting our own units with this? It's difficult to tell at the moment, but you know, it's it's worth the minor sacrifice to say. Looks like the cavalry has given up on flanking us, which is excellent news. Can we move our own cavalry out now to help some sort of flank? I think we don't need to worry about the Württembergs over here. Russians will sort those out. So if we deal with this flank, this battle will be ours. Are they actually going to charge us? Are they actually going to charge us? I don't want to form a square if they're not. Looks like they just want to get shot. It's going to be too late to form a square soon, but it's going to be too late for them to charge. It's going to be a very weak charge. We need to form a square. Look at that mass coming in here. That is disgusting. Okay, so giving up the range battle there is interesting indeed. Let's try and get their general down with this. And now we need our cavalry to come round. Double time it please guys, get on their flanks. There's our own real general staff. We need to bring him down to help our morale and inspire a few units I think. Dealing with this fairly slowly, but actually not too bad. They're very tired, very angry that they're losing I'm sure. And now we'll get a little more solidly on their back. Penetrating through our square a little while there because it isn't infantry, it's only Landwehr though, so that is just militia. And I think now is the time for a morale shot. We're going to go for their general and we're going to flank this massive charge here, do a nice counter charge. We do have light infantry here. They will not be able to stand a melee fight at all. You can see their morale already absolutely abysmal and their general even routing off now because we did just charge him down, and that will cause a very nasty morale shock throughout the Württemberg army. We have killed their general. Virit Klaus, you're down mate. Look at that, able to fire just over our units here. There is a tiniest incline over here. We're not getting so much friendly fire. I think it's more from our cannons to be honest. I'm willing to take that at the moment. So we are just waiting on this unit over here I think to rout off. So in that case we will send a unit of cavalry over to help our allies indeed. What we can do is bring our cavalry over here to make sure these units do in fact shatter. And to make sure we don't kill off our own units from friendly fire, we will turn fire at will off and charge down these 37 Chevaulegers once again, but they are now routing off anyway. So that is very, very nice indeed. Let's get going, I think. Easy victory. Easy when you only have to fight half of the army there, isn't it? Okay, so that was a heroic victory in the end. And let's see, 2.2 thousand losses. Rather interesting there. Did take losses across the board. See how that goes. They don't have many men remaining, but I think that's enough to keep a standing army about. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, they are retreating there. So with that being said, of course, Florence has been raided by the Spanish because they did decide to move to the south here and into Italy. Not to worry at all, though. That does mean that they're isolated, and that is really what matters there. Don't mind the fact that they have raided our school at all. It is 3 turns away, though, from our research, but we're not really pushed for that just yet. We do have a new admiral available, Matthias Müller. Not to worry there, don't need to worry too much. Now we do have some recruits now in northern Italy. And look at that, the replenishment is astronomical now that we have field ambulances out. The replenishment needed for a lot of our units has already been completed in Milan, which is excellent, which means, you know what, I wonder if we can push our luck. 4 units of Landwehr to also resolve some battered units over there. Is that really going to be worth it? Yeah, we'll see. Do have our magistrate in Athens and Moravia done. That's excellent. How's our income looking? Tab worse because we have recruited a few units. I think we do send this over. We might just have to retreat from this, but it's not to worry. It's only a little experiment. Getting reinforced anyway, so quick auto resolve will sort this out. Lost too many units because we did involve all of our armies there, which is rather unlucky. That means more replenishment for us. But let's get back in and police Milan. Excellent there. How are we looking with... Yeah, we still need a few units there. That will boost our economy though. We'll just exempt that once again very quickly. And I think we will make a couple more units of Landwehr there. Let's remove our spy from here and actually have them infiltrate Piedmont over here, leave them there for a few turns and build up a spy network so we can see more solidly what is going on there. We do have our spy over here, and I think it would be great to put him in Stuttgart over here to form more solid sites there. But what do we have? We have another French army over here. Let's very quickly infiltrate that army if possible. Agent executed. That was a terrible idea. But not to worry. Not to worry at all. We can see Napoleon's army coming to Strasbourg there. He's made a bit of distance. That might mean he's going to come down and tangle with the Prussians. Maybe we can get, since they're going to win that war against Bavaria anyway, maybe we can offer to join the war very cheekily for some money. If we... Joining wars, Kingdom of Bavaria. Can we get... They were going to offer us carronade, weren't they? Carronade frigates aren't too bad, you know. They really aren't too bad. But... You know what? If we go for payments, demand... Let's go for 1,500. What do they say? They have listed... They said no. They said no. What if we offer once again... And go for Kingdom of Bavaria. What if we be very cheeky, throw in field ambulance as well, and payments demand 1,500 once again. That's a lot of money there. Let's do that properly. And they say yes. Excellent. So let's just double check nothing is threatening our navy over here, shall we? Can't see anything too immediately. Ottomans are sitting still. Good. Very, very useful indeed. Pretty stuck on what to do now. I think we do, of course, want to contest this army over here. We'll want to wait for a little bit of replenishment over there before we do so. Because I do want to have that slight advantage. And I think now we have got a little bit of security over here, we will start to invest into Venice over here. And what I want to do, I think, is use that money we just got from the Prussians to invest in a drill school, which will mean we have a slightly more forward base over here to start recruiting so that we don't have to rely on Vienna all the time there. And you know what? I think now that we don't have to worry about the Württembergs over here so much, might want to bring this group rather than just deplete them. We can bring them in as reinforcements down here, I think. Might not be a bad idea at all, actually. So we'll start bringing them over here. see how they feel about that, and think about what to do with them later on. I don't want to have them sat just as a simple garrison, but that might have to be the case for now. I have to see. I think that would be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Rather a quick one today, but rather intense. Did fight back another serious defence of Milan there, and we can only see more problems occurring with the Spanish, unfortunately. Very narrowly missed a heavy attack from the French as well, and Napoleon coming back as well. Very, very nasty indeed, but more excitement for the future, I think. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do comment your feedback as ever. It's always very much appreciated. It's always very, very useful indeed. However, I shall see you in the future. I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.